Right now. So live music addict in the house with Unsigned Revolution, our host Lloyd Harrell. And we're here with Terry Wilson from Phoenix Events and Production. And one of her bands, Black Bell. We have Ash.
Hi. Where do I look?
Right. You're right there.
Where your eyes make you look.
Ash,
Where you do it.
Mr. Ash Biggs is the lead singer and guitar player. And then we have Mike Loudenback, the lead guitar player, with us today. So where do we start? First of all, Terry, why don't you tell us about how you got hooked up with bands like these guys right here, and what Phoenix Events and Productions is all about?
I kind of fell into this. It came out of nowhere. A couple years ago, I had a band approach me for some help, and I was like, whatever, blew them off for 6 months, and then found out they were serious. So then I started collaborating with them, and somehow word got around that I was doing this with bands, and it was really word of mouth and being at shows with these guys. It happened to be Ash's mom, who was like, my son's band needs to talk to you.
Yeah.
So you're like, thanks, Mom.
And
Thanks, Mom.
Shout out to Mom.
And she is an awesome mom. And we met that week after the show, and we just work. We just find gigs and do stuff. So yeah. And Phoenix, we're here for bands to contact us, let us know what they want, and see if we can accommodate.
What's the best way for bands to reach you at Phoenix Events?
I think the best way is probably through Facebook. Just get on our Facebook page, Phoenix Productions and Events, and message me. Message whoever answers.
I'm Terry Wilson.
What are some of the shows that you've booked, like in the past?
So I work a lot with Hiding Jekyll. I work a lot with Sick Man. I work with these guys. I work with Black Hair. And right now it's a lot of Wow Hall, Black Forest, and most of the time I don't even ask the guys to put my logo on the posters. So Hiding Jekyll's show this Friday night, I had a big hand in that.
Actually, this Friday night, Black Forest, 9 p.m., right?
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Show up at 9. You know, get a few beers in there first.
Yeah, we've got Coyote
Definitely.
Bread. Coyote Bread's a touring band coming in. We've got Dead Kingmaker, Hiding Jekyll, and Blackout closing the show.
Yeah.
Nice.
Should be a good show.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So yeah, just reach out to us and we'll see what we can do.
Excellent, excellent. So how long has Black Bell been a band?
Since 2010 was when...
2009, technically, or what? Say 2010.
Actually, I would say 2009.
Yep.
The first 6 months don't count.
Oh, 2010.
Yeah, we would say 2010, yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's how many members in the band?
We have 4 members.
And the other two are?
The other 2 are Jared Squared. We have Jared Munch Tilford, as we affectionately refer to him as. And then we have Jared Noland. Tilford plays keys, and Noland is on drums.
It's funny that you call it Jared Squared, because I have a lady that's also my partner with Live Music Addict that's on hiatus right now. I'm Jody, she's JoJo, so we're the J team, or J Squared. her idea.
J Squared.
J Squared. It's funny.
So how'd you guys get together? You just were friends, or you just showed up?
Yeah, funny story. Let's see. This goes back to what, 2008, 2007?
2007, yeah.
I responded to a random Craigslist request for a guitar player, and it was actually replacing your position in a previous band.
Mm-hmm.
And not but what, 3 months later you actually joined back, and then you and I started playing guitar in that other band. And we were with that band for about
a year and a half.
About a year or so.
We cut a record with them.
And are they a mystery band?
Oh, it was a band called Stillfire.
Okay. That's just
Yeah. No, it's everything is square. Actually, the singer for Stillfire was represented on The Inevitable Decline. There's a female vocalist that appears on 2 tracks, and that was the old singer for Stillfire. So I mean, we're totally chill. Everything is completely cool. You know, just,
Nice.
It was creative differences in the direction that we wanted.
That
the band
kind of
to go.
stuff happens all the time. That's normal.
Yeah.
But Black Bell was literally birthed out of that.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. We kind of closed out that album, and that's kind of when we moved on and started Black Bell. And
Yeah.
I started
like-
Black Bell and I like
It was
that.
just like, boom, we released Here Lies the Wounded by Stillfire, and then like immediately we're right back in the studio again working on The Truth of Silence, which was
Acoustic
our
album,
first
right?
record,
Yeah.
but it was an acoustic.
Yeah.
You know, that was just us getting around screwing off and saying, oh, let's write some songs and just bring the material together. And then no sooner had we finished The Truth of Silence,
I love
and
it.
then we just jumped right into The Inevitable Decline for the pre-production on that.
yeah.
Excellent.
And,
The Truth of Silence. What a good name. I love it.
Yeah.
And the inevitable decline follows that. Excellent.
Yeah, the next one that we got coming out, I think it's a good time to kind of let it out of the bottle that we're working on a new record.
Excellent. Yeah.
This one is going to be called The End is the Beginning.
Nice. I love it.
So we got The Truth of Silence, The Inevitable Decline, and The End is the Beginning.
Which is one story, you know.
Sounds like my life in the last 2 years. Oh, man.
When are you guys gonna release that? Any word on? You have
We-
a clue at all?
We have no tentative release date.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we are not going to even think of putting out a release date.
You don't want to say 2015? Dare we say that?
Hell no, dude.
It should be like less than
Hell
a decade
no.
from now.
Yeah.
We will release this eventually. You know.
Before 2020.
Yeah.
Before 2020.
There you go.
2020.
We will have it out before 2020. You know, preferably before the world ends. You know.
Wouldn't that be great if you released it right beforehand? You know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude!
But it can't
That
because
would be-
the end is the
Okay,
beginning.
so
okay?
the actual album cover for The Inevitable Decline, like, I am obsessed with very cryptic, apocalyptic type imagery, and I'm a photographer as well as a graphic designer, so I do all of the artwork for Black Bell, our merch and stuff like that too. And like when I was working on the record cover for The Inevitable Decline, I took a photo that I got at like 5 a.m. in Portland where the sun was like coming up over the Portland skyline, you know, and it was just beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. I mean, how many times are you gonna be awake at 5 a.m. just randomly taking pictures?
Never.
And so I was like, dude, this is awesome. Well, I ended up like photoshopping in, you know, through my magic and manipulation, this mushroom cloud behind it, you know, of like this newt going off over the Portland skyline, and like the album cover that we have coming out, I literally just finished it, and it is still kind of carrying on that dark, cryptic, apocalyptic type theme.
Cool.
So it's funny that, you know, you say something about
Right.
that. So.
I might need to get you in touch with the director I worked with on the motorcycle aspect casting for a film called Portland Grad.
Nice.
So because it's about the Far East invading the west coast of America and how the bikers defend the people, and yeah, he might be interested in some of
That
that.
sounds so metal.
Yeah, totally.
It's like Sons of Anarchy, only apocalyptic.
Absolutely, it is. So good to know that. So we're gonna hear some of your music from which album?
The Inevitable Decline.
The Inevitable Decline in a little bit. But also, when I first learned about you, Miss Terry Wilson, I was blown away by this project venue that you have, and I guess it's in a holding pattern at the moment.
It is.
Not to be forgotten at all.
No,
But
no.
what really impressed me was I have this dream that I have on one of my notes about my live music addict, and when I read what you had to say and what your dream and goal was, it was almost like reading my own words.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I got to meet this lady. This is so cool. So tell us about that.
So Project Venue is, like you said, kind of on hold at the moment. Basically, it became very clear to me that over the summer and bands coming to me constantly, you know, we need new venues, we need more venues. So
Yes.
we're
we do.
lacking venues in Eugene.
Yes.
It's terrible.
They're dying left and right.
Yeah.
We're going to
And-
fix it.
And I had some investors that were interested in the idea. So I busted tail and got a business plan together. And with my daughter had starred in a play at the Holt Center
Yay,
during the
Addison
summer.
Wilson.
And she, well, I was dropping her off every day at the Holt Center, and I happened to look across the street, and there's the old Rock and Rodeo up for lease. And at that moment, I thought, oh my gosh, is this a sign? Well, it wasn't. It ended up not being a sign. It ended up being the wrong location, but great venue location. My investors love the business plan. They have no faith in Eugene.
Yeah,
They
what about
have-
Springfield?
They have no faith.
Less
Reprise
faith
that.
in Springfield than Eugene.
Right. Basically, it came down to they don't believe that the Eugene Springfield economy will support a venue of the caliber I want to open. I don't want to open a bar. I'll have alcohol served.
That's the same way I feel. This is what struck me the most.
Right. But
It shouldn't be restricted to being able to have a drink, but you should be able to have a drink if you'd like.
Exactly. And I would like to open an arts venue.
Yes.
Where
excellent.
music would be the main.
The main draw.
draw.
Exactly.
There's more. There's more.
Her
There would be
ideas
more.
were just
Well,
like mine.
And with the Rock and Rodeo location, it was great because I had already been talking to the Holt Center about overflow because lots of shows come in there that can't afford the Holt Center.
Right.
So that's the goal. Eventually, there will be a venue opened in this town. I will be the owner of it.
That's right.
And
I'll be behind you.
I will be hosting wonderful bands like Black Belt.
And I will be drinking
back
all
you.
the alcohol you can serve.
So, but for now, it is kind of in a kind of a stasis
It's
pattern.
just a temporary thing.
Yeah.
I think it's marvelous because it just totally mirrors exactly. I mean, I'll show you sometime. There's dates on it and everything. I'll show you,
Do you-
how we think so. Like,
Do you plan on like splitting it off, like having an all ages kind of thing, but
Yeah.
maybe having the
Exactly.
21 area like,
Exactly.
separate?
Yeah, I had Ash really involved with that particular location because I'm not a musician and I won't pretend to be. I'm a business person, and with the venue, I wanted musicians to come into it and look at it and tell me, is this a good setup? Is the sound good?
Right.
Is this going to work? But the number one thing I constantly hear from bands is that we want all ages venues.
Yes.
Too, because
it's a
bars are
big
great.
market.
But you don't want to cut out your younger crowd either.
No.
Which
And-
I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but when I was younger, that's when my musical influences were on fire. You know,
Yeah.
everything I heard.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
you hear it all, so you're just like, yeah.
And
You know.
Yeah, straight up.
originally, if I was able to actually acquire the old Rock and Rodeo location, the main area where the main bar used to be was not going to be a bar. It was actually going to be an all ages area,
Nice.
and we were going to cut off the lounge for alcohol use. So yeah, that's the
like, how do
plan.
you do it like that at the McDonald's?
Mm-hmm.
And-
And that was exactly what I was
Yeah.
drawing from.
Exactly my idea. Because why should you have to be restricted by being able to hear live music because you're old enough to have a drink?
Right.
Why should you be able to not have a drink either? I mean, we can
Exactly.
figure this out. Okay. Cornerstone Tailgates and Events did a great venue. Their first one, the Blues, Brews, and Barbecues in the Wit last summer, went off without a hitch. And they had 2 wineries and 2 breweries, and they had a barbecue People's Choice contest, and
Right.
they had a kids zone and face painting and like 7 bands, and it was great. Their first year out.
Cool.
And so they had it all, but something like that, but on a permanent basis.
Right.
And
Exactly.
indoor, outdoor would be cool too.
You know, the biggest issue right now that I'm running into is my investors are still interested. I just have to convince them that it's going to make it money. It's going to turn a profit. And right now, it's location that's going to be the problem. Because even though the old Rock and Rodeo was a great idea, it still didn't quite fit everything I wanted. I mean, like one of the things we had talked about is the stage location. I wasn't super happy with the stage location. I wasn't super happy with the height of the stage. You know, there was all sorts of things that didn't really accommodate. And so location is going to be the big one at this point.
This new producer that came into town that was trying to do the Halloween festival, and it got pulled out from under him at the last minute in Springfield, right over by the Mohawk Tavern and the old Wehrmart building. Right there. That whole building's been vacant forever. There's
I know.
parking, there's the I-5. That location, what's up with that one?
There's lots of locations like that all over the place. The big thing for me is
That
I
one's
believe
nice location.
I believe downtown is going to be a key. I believe getting
For the arts.
being a place where
The art
we're
walks.
within walking distance of the campus.
Buses.
Lots of things like
So
that.
Black
The
Forest is a
Bermuda
perfect example.
Triangle.
It's so small, the sound sucks. There's no room for anybody. But,
There's no
we all
parking.
go there because that's the only bar downtown that lets people play music.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
And that's because we've seen venue after venue after venue over the last 3 years just close.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, broke my heart when the Oak Street Speakeasy closed. Matt
Oh,
and
I
worked
know!
together. My first gig actually was booked in that bar, and
That young lady, what was her name?
Mac,
She
was
did
amazing.
a great job.
Yeah, it was a beautiful bar, and it just
And she promoted it really well.
she did, and she loved live music, and it just
Yes.
broke my heart when she closed.
And that had something to do with the lease or something.
And then of course we lost Goodfellas.
And
Yeah.
Diablos.
Diablos.
man.
And then we
Samurai
found out
Duck,
last
dude.
week-
Samurai Duck, we used to play there all the time.
Oh my gosh,
Our bands.
Samurai Duck was
The Whiskey
seriously
River,
one of my
too.
favorite
Whiskey
places
River
to
is
play
closed
in
now
Eugene.
too. Yeah,
And
it's just,
Goodfellas, I know.
and
But
that's
Dexter
um,
Lake Club.
Unfortunately,
Oh, yeah.
that's a bad sign for anyone that wants to invest in a venue too. In this
Right.
area, you know, so yeah. So
But they were hopping though. There was different reasons.
yeah, exactly.
Dexter's just a little hard. Well,
Well-
there was different reasons for that too, and I'm not going into it because that's just not a good idea.
But 2 out of the 3 of my investors don't live even in Oregon.
Yeah.
So
right.
trying to convince them that each one had unique reasons,
That's a whole other ballgame.
it is a whole
Right.
different ballpark. Yeah. So, but yeah, that will eventually come back up, and we
Hey,
will
Addison,
eventually work on that
Come up here
again.
with us. Why not, sweetie? I heard your daughter Addison, that's over here off the camera, is the biggest fan of you guys, Black Bell.
Apparently so.
It's true.
Nice. That's Addison Wilson, everybody.
Biggest
Jerry's
fan.
daughter.
Yeah, she sports their merch and runs around the shows and.
So
Oh, there's
you-
there's Facebook
I'll send
pictures up of her just completely decked out. I mean, she's got her
Nice.
hat, she's got her
Nice,
shirt,
yes.
she's got the button.
That's
She
good.
just got hooked up with one of our new stickers. Woo!
So you have all your merchandise on your Facebook
Uh,
page?
Absolutely. Well, not Facebook. We've got a big.
It's an
cartel.
online store.
It's
Okay, an
online
online store, but it's it's the link on your Facebook page?
Some Black
We have
Barrel
It's on our,
stickers.
Website.
Access to our website,
Okay.
blackbellrock.com.
blackbellrock.com, everybody. And then you guys, you have a merchandise table at every live show you do, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And this is what I've been trying to stress to a lot of the other bands. Don't just have it on your stage. Say, we have this up here, we have CDs. We need merchandise tables at the shows, at the festivals. Yes, we're going to be doing that at the festival in Eugene too.
Cool.
So I want all the bands to have a merch table.
I always thought people playing gigs should be like, hey, buy some merch and I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey man, you come out and you purchase a Black Belt T-shirt, and you will get our undying love. And
Isn't that all you need?
And
love is
autograph.
all you need.
Once you give them an autograph right on their arm,
Oh, I totally
Back.
would. I
face.
totally would.
I will
I'd
put
autograph your
marker
face.
you.
I would autograph your
Nice.
arm. I'll autograph your neck. I mean,
There you go.
Well, now you got a new lyric for a song.
What's
New
that?
lyric? What is it?
All you need is love.
Oh, no, that's not a new one, baby.
It's
I wish
still
I
a
could've
great
come up
one,
with
though.
that, man.
Perfect
That is
one.
good, yeah.
If-
It's
It's true. That is all we need.
Addison recently told me your mom works with bands when you have metallic Sharpies in your purse.
Absolutely.
I have all 3, gold, silver, and bronze.
That's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
point.
You're embarrassing me.
Aw.
Aw. Okay, you might as well get used to it in
It's
this
their
crowd.
job to embarrass.
We embarrass ourselves, honey.
She's
And that's our job.
That's our job.
She's a huge help with Phoenix. When we handbill, she goes downtown as long as it's before 8 p.m. before her bedtime, and she
My
handbills.
bedtime is 8:30.
When you say handbill, you're talking about promoting
Yep.
flyers.
When we do the small flyer,
Uh-huh.
when we actually hand them out physically.
Nice.
She is a master handbiller. The first time we did it was
I
for
yeah.
was it for Reckless in Vegas?
Yeah, and I was wearing this crazy pink top hat my friend lent me.
She wore
That's
and
great.
she was so Eugene, it was crazy. It was
Nice.
this, it was this tall, furry pink
I'm a
top
Mad
hat.
Hatter.
Yeah?
I'm a pink Mad Hatter.
And
Nice.
she was wearing this cool gray and black outfit. And she was, I mean, who doesn't want to take a handbill from an 8-year-old?
Right, right.
Exactly.
And it was just classic. I think she even had a pink what is it? The
What's it then?
The Pink Mad Hatter Street Team by
she
Addison.
was just craziness.
Yeah.
And we had 150 handbills that night. She handed almost all of them out.
Nice.
It was great. So.
I'm cute. It's a gift.
Yes, it is. I love it. High five.
High five.
Yeah, you baby. Oh, sorry.
I think
Sorry,
we are
sweet.
going to officially adopt Addison as our band mascot.
Yes.
Right here.
I think the picture you were talking about on Facebook, she's wearing a black belt T-shirt, the new one, and she had a
New
ball
black
cap
belt
on,
T-shirts.
and she had the pink headphones on at the Wow Hall.
Yep,
It
that's
was
the one.
classic, and she was standing on the steps of the Wow Hall, and it was just decked out. I was like, that's awesome.
Can we buy your shirts on your website?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And what's that website address again?
Blackbellrock.com.
Blackbellrock.com. I know I'm going to check that out as soon as I
Sounds
get
like
home.
a flavor of a Pop-Tart.
Happy Bell Pop-Tart.
I just think of food, you know.
It does kind of sound like a name for a Pop-Tart.
So, Cherry, how long has Phoenix Vincent Productions been in? When did you found it? It's your baby, right?
Yeah. Excuse me. So, I got into the industry. I started probably about 5 years ago now. And really, like I said earlier, it was about collaborating with bands.
Mm-hmm.
I realized probably about, I started working with Sick Man in February of this year. And I realized about April that I kept getting all these personal messages on Facebook. And I said, it's time. It's time to put a name on this. It's time to make it official. So technically, the band's the business has only existed since about April. I mean, I've been working it for last few years now, but it as far as a official business, it's been earlier this year.
I think this is the first time we've met, right?
I believe so.
I could have been drunk and forgotten, but every time I go to a show, I hear Terry's name at every show I go
And
to.
on Facebook
I
constantly.
Like,
Wow.
And all the bands know Terry.
Every conversation about music around musicians is like, oh, Terry.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know
Who's
how
this
this
Terry
is
person?
happening.
Where is
Dude,
this
there
Terry
is
person?
a very good reason.
You
for
have
that.
a stellar reputation. People
I'm
speak
so-
very highly of you.
I'm so embarrassed at the moment. And the reason
Don't be
I don't
embarrassed.
No blushing.
Own it.
Not allowed.
Now, see, that's why
It's
you own it.
fair. You embarrassed me.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
nice.
the reason for that is I don't push for my logo to go on the posters because that's not what it's about.
No.
For me, it's about booking the gigs, getting these guys paid, because even if we don't like talking about the dirty, words of money,
Right.
it's a necessity.
Yes, it
as far
is.
as I'm
Hearing
concerned.
those words, make your skin crawl.
Well,
Start
but
thinking about all your bills. You're like,
I know.
exactly, and honestly, I am happy if I stand back in the shadows and I watch these guys up on stage and they pull off an epic frickin' show,
Uh-huh.
and we walk out at the end of the night and it was great. And I don't really, the recognition kind of kicks me in the ass. So
Well, but see, that's why you're deserving of it.
right.
You're humble.
Thank
And that rocks because people prey on artists because they're artists.
Right.
And they need people like you and I and you to represent them so they don't get messed around like that.
Right.
They need good people in their corner.
Preyed upon by big labels who are like, yeah, we'll sign you. All you gotta do is pay $4,000 for your album to be recorded.
And you don't want to sign away your creative
Yeah, and
rights.
then you're like, hey,
Yeah.
name one song from my band. They're like,
Seriously.
seriously, yeah.
Yeah, and just before we change the subject, thank all of you, whoever it is who's talking about me, thank you. Thank you.
It's everywhere.
Even the bad stuff, because my name's getting out there.
That's right. Oh, come on. That's the one that really gets it out there. But I've never heard anything even remotely near bad
Well,
about you,
I
Terry.
appreciate it. Thank
From
you.
a
Thank
from
you
a
for
band
talking about
perspective,
my
Terry is absolutely amazing to work with. She's just a joy.
That's what I've heard.
Very, very good, positive, outgoing energy. I mean, she's constantly just flitting around, and like trying to like make as many contacts as she possibly can.
Cool.
And I mean, even more so than that, she's a good friend. She's
Oh, you're gonna make me
she's
tear up
helped she's helped me out a few times.
I can get you a bucket if
hooked
you
me
need
up
to
with
sell some
cheese.
tears.
Cry it out.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
good people, man.
Yeah.
I highly recommend to
That's
every
why.
single like band member, musician, get in contact with this woman. She's brilliant at networking, and she's a good person to have in your corner.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's all about.
Do you rep any band that is decent? I should put decent in there.
I have.
Well, yeah, us.
Hello.
Well, I meant, like, if do bands just come to you and you're like, yeah, sure, I'll help you regardless?
No.
You filter
No,
it?
I do.
Okay.
You can. The guys will tell you. We had our first meeting, and I just laid it out there. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. And when I started working with them, I was still pretty green. I mean, the business itself had just really kind of come together. My business cards were printed off of my printer. I don't even think they were aligned. And everything was still very new. Even though I had been doing this for a couple of years, I hadn't really been doing it. And when I put a name on it and I made the business cards and I started actually having meetings with bands, it was real.
They take you more seriously too when you put the effort in.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but I was very nervous because officially, other than Sickman, who I knew these guys for years, these guys I didn't know. They were new to me, and that first meeting, I was a nervous frickin' wreck. I don't know if you could tell, but I was a mess. I didn't know.
You kind of chattered a little bit.
You did too, though. Bad.
Guilty every day, all day.
So, but yeah, I meet with them for the first time. I hear what they have to say. Sometimes it's not face to face. Sometimes it's through a group chat on Facebook.
Exactly.
Black Hair, I have yet to get those guys all together in one group and sit with and talk with them. But I talk with them all the time through Facebook.
Exactly.
So
That's
I
the
do.
world of
I meet
social
with
media.
them. I find out what they need because at the end of the day, I might not be what they need.
Right.
I might not be able to help them, and I'm straight with them about that. And then
You don't want to sell yourself too much and then come short.
exactly.
Right.
And
It's a good point.
and some bands need things that I'm just not there yet. I haven't gotten there yet. I have a band, Emphatic, out of Utah. They are.
How do you say it again?
Emphatic.
Emphatic.
With an M?
It's E-M-P-H.
EMPHATIC.
Okay.
Emphatic. I met them 4 years ago. I want to say they were an opener for Crossfade. And just recently they reached out to me. They want to do an I-5 tour.
See? That's what I've been talking about. I-5 tours.
They want to do an I-5 tour from literally from Canada to Mexico.
There you go.
That's I would love to be part of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't have those connections.
I can help with a lot of that.
Yeah, we
through
could,
Cali.
as a community of music lovers, you try to help each other.
Come on.
Exactly.
It's all about
So-
co-promotion.
Get it done, yeah.
So at this point, that's what it is. It's about finding out what they need, finding out if I can provide it. I was straight with them. I can help them out from Seattle to San Francisco, but I'm kind of lacking in the rest. And then I continue to, if they want to work with me, I
could
do.
spread it over
And
to Phoenix,
sometimes it doesn't work out. So yeah, it's just that first interview. And I'm kind of lacking on a variety of genres. I just recently hooked up with Haywire.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
I've
Yes,
heard that a
we
few
haven't
times.
started collaborating yet, but Steve and I have talked, and so we're gonna figure out if I can help them do what they have in mind
I'm sure you
This
can.
is
in their country.
Their country, and they're really good. They played the Festival of Eugene last year.
I'm not a-
Steve Benavides left a message, and he was trying to remember. He goes, "Your card keeps popping up." But I'm not ready yet either with stuff, so I'm glad he contacted you. These guys are off the hook, and Krista Albert, the producer from the festival, knows them well. And so they're from, but I haven't met them yet in person. I've seen them, but I was like in and out, going, local clubs that night. But man, they are really good.
I haven't actually seen them live yet.
Oh,
Actually, James
you're in for a
is
treat.
the owner of Bugsy's out in Junction City. He's the one who referred them to me.
Good job.
And and Steve happened to be at the bar the night I went and saw Pick Six.
Nice.
And so we're collaborating there. So yeah, it's
That's a good addition to your team.
Yeah, it's investigating and figuring out whether or not I can help them.
I've
You
heard
can.
that band a lot this last 7 days. Since you guys mentioned them, I don't know, for some reason I've been hearing
They
them.
promote themselves a lot
They're
too, which is
really
great.
active.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're very popular.
believe I actually saw Haywire one night down at Goodfellas, and if I recall, there was a drummer involved, Jay Castle, and we had a heck of a night. too haywire that evening. We got picked up by a couple of cougars. It was fun.
Good job.
So, going into detail about these cougar stories.
I will go into no more detail to protect the guilty.
Yes.
There it is, my butt.
I'm ready for my butt shot, Mr. DeMille. Make sure you get a good zoom up on that when you edit it post.
Yeah, it would have been a blooper reel if nobody will watch it. I'll put a disclaimer like, don't watch this, it's got me and my other half.
Bloopers are great. We love bloopers. So on the break, Terry Wilson, Phoenix Events and Productions, and I were discussing about, all right, Lane County, we need to collaborate our music scene.
Yeah.
Ideas first from you.
Oh, over the last 20 years that I've been here, I think, and talking to musicians and going to shows and seeing how the scene per se has rolled out. And
Thanks for those quotes.
What it is today. I think one of the major things, and I know Ash and I've talked about this, and other musicians I've talked about this, is we really, really lack collaboration.
Yes.
Amongst the bands. I mean, them working together and developing what they claim a scene exists. They don't work towards that development.
Some of them do. Like
some do.
Hyde
yes.
and Jekyll and Pick Six, Brandon Purnell and all those guys. Bulls on Parade, they all co-promote each other.
But it seems like still a piece is missing. And
And
what
we
that
don't-
is, I'm not even going to pretend to know. But
I've been trying to think of that for years.
yeah.
I mean, because everybody's doing their part. The bands are doing everything they can. The people that love the bands are doing everything.
But there's still
There's still something, and that's like the question on my mind for years is what happened to where this doesn't exist anymore? Basically, it just kind of faded away.
Yeah.
The music's still there, but not the funds.
Well, maybe we should start a Facebook group called Lane County Music Scene Collaboration or something.
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take, but I know that it appears to be dying.
Yes, and
If
we
I
cannot
can-
allow
If I can interject.
Of course.
Do it
From a
Oh,
band's
please.
perspective.
Do it.
I think that one of the biggest issues that we have is an oversaturated market. Because you've got a lot of bands vying for very few venues in the area, and
Too many bands, not enough venues. Right?
Exactly. I mean, it's too many bands, not enough venues, but it also has to do with the way that the bands promote themselves, the way that they get out there. I did 2 years of graphic design at the Art Institute in Portland, so I am passionate about having, good designs and making sure that you're getting out there and looking as pro as possible, and like, even if you're not going pro with your band, why not, have decent designs, why not like put your best foot forward with everything you do? Don't take less than quality.
Right.
And I think that that's, in my opinion, that's something that has been really lacking. I mean, just 20 years ago, you had like Moth and you had Prod and Northwest Royale and We Have Guns and all these bands that had these kick-ass albums and, this really just pristine artwork. What the hell happened to that?
That was just a few years ago, yeah.
Northwest Rail's back.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yay!
I'm actually
Right on
pretty stoked about
Colton.
that.
Didn't they?
True story. One of the first bands that I played in, I was the drummer, and we opened up for the first incarnation of Northwest Royale under the Jefferson Street Bridge.
Nice.
Yeah. Ironically, another connection. Our current drummer was playing that same show with his old band. Back then, it was Addict.
Yep.
And so it was just like all these little connections just right there. It was so much fun.
Nice.
It is.
Didn't they change their name to? I lost my beard. Oh no!
We can't have that.
Lost it.
Oh, it's right here by my foot. I did lose my beard. It's okay. I found it.
Crisis averted.
Yes.
So they changed their name to Grinch, right? And then, Grinch or?
Toby Lugo would be the one to ask that question.
They changed their name back. I was just wondering if you knew anything about that. It's okay. But let's get back to your guys' music. I mean, you have some influences and some crazy shows, I'm sure, that you've been through that kind of like made your trademark of like looking at each other like, yeah.
We like to hear stories.
Oh, man.
Come on.
You want to take this?
What, the last one with
Excuse me.
with Devin playing in front of 10 people.
If that wasn't a freaking rock star moment, I don't know what
Jeez,
is, man.
why is it every time I went to go play a solo, he had to like grab my shoe and untie my shoelaces, and grab my pant leg, and what?
We did, yeah, it was this show that we played in Portland. You know, we've been trying to get up there, and you know,
That
like,
I was going to ask about Portland.
We did everything that we could to try to promote. You know, I had my friends up there going out and flyering and papering and stuff. And we got, like, that group, and then, like, you know, Mike had a couple of homies that showed up. And it was like, that was,
Wait, it was an
except for
early
this one.
show.
It was an early show
on a Monday night.
Yep.
Oh, for Pete's sake, so
Yeah.
much.
Shh, I'm trying to make it sound like we suck. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
stop.
Not.
Not.
I'm pretty sure we just heard about your
the
tracks.
whole
What
reason-
club was it?
It was an intro show
Yeah.
at Dante's in
Okay.
Portland, and the idea behind it was to kind of bring them into Portland and kind of introduce them and get them.
We need to be
Right.
getting into the Portland scene.
Yeah, we're
Dude,
still
that's
working
what
on that.
that's what
Right.
we're working on right now. Like,
Yeah.
we've been in pretty consistent contact with you know, a couple of people at the Hawthorne Theater.
There you go.
You know, I've talked to some people at Ash Street Saloon up there. I mean, there's a lot of great
Yes.
freaking venues
Yes.
in the Portland
And
area.
festivals and events.
You know, and like, but this is kind of goes back to what I was talking about. Here's the thing with a lot of the other bands that I've heard in conversations is like for a while there has seemed to be kind of a pervading attitude of just like, we don't have to play on this show. All we can do is play on our Friday nights and our Saturday nights and Sunday nights. And what we're finding out by trying to, you know, break into the Portland scene and stuff, that ain't the way it works.
No.
You have to take some crap
Yeah.
gigs at the decent venues before you can get the good gigs, you know? And so I feel like, you know, if more bands were trying to progress to that, you know, just trying to progress to that level of like, let's get into the good venues, you know, and let's try to, you know, step up our game so that we can start competing.
Instead of playing the same place over
with
and over again.
the
kind of
bigger
thing, too,
industry,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like the industry that we all rail against and that we hate oh so very much, and yet everybody supports it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to come out and support a local band for $5 a ticket, and yet you'll pay, you know, $55 and upwards to go and see.
How much was your Starbucks today, right? So you,
I mean,
you didn't have $5 to go see a show, but you had money for a coffee.
Well, and don't get me wrong either. I'm not disrespecting, you know, our peers
I got
on
you,
the
though.
bigger levels.
Solid
But,
point.
you know,
Right.
like, obviously they've been doing what they do for a long time, and they inspire us in what we do.
Exactly.
You know, at the same rate, like, we have to have local support. You know, we
Everybody
have
was
to
an
have,
indie band before they were a big shot.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Even Metallica,
I know those
the
guys.
only metal band that's played all 7 continents. Even they started out in somebody's garage. Man.
Yep, could tell you a lot about that one.
Yeah.
In my Phoenix days, but I've been toying around with some of all the subjects for a while and different little things I've written down, just rough drafts. And maybe we need to have a lot more. We could even do it with syncing it up with social media. But Battle of the Bands, people's choices, and put Battle of the Venues, and maybe people need to decide which bands they want at what venues, and get the people involved through Facebook and Twitter and Reverb Nation and.
Power to the people.
Yes! They're the ones coming to the clubs.
I think
Let's
a lot
talk
of
to 'em.
it these days is we're relying on social media when the real is on the streets. Like if you take the bus,
We need the
bring
street
some
team.
flyers, be like, hey, what are you doing tonight, you guys? You know, young crowd full of people.
You
like
know-
you're not doing anything, go to this show, give them a flyer instead of posting
That's
on
right, we
someone's
don't have
Facebook,
enough
like,
street teams.
Hey, in case
No,
you
I
see
think
this,
street
we
teams
have
are
a show
They're very
coming
important.
up. Like if
I
you're face
could-
to face, you're like, hey, come to this show.
I couldn't
You
do
know.
what I do without my street team. My street team's very small, but they're very dedicated, and
Right.
you know they paper the town. I mean,
Yes.
they get that stuff out everywhere, and you know
That's what I love about the Wow Hall, because it is all ages.
You know, back-
Cosmic, too.
back to what Ash said about oversaturation. I think that is an issue right now, but it hasn't always been.
Yeah.
You know, and I plan on working closer with the Wow Hall.
Good.
January, I will be probably going to the board meeting. And
When's their next volunteer meeting? I missed the last one.
it's usually like the third week of the month.
Okay, so
you'll
it's a
want to
monthly.
watch.
Good.
Yeah, they usually do it monthly.
It's on their
touch
website,
base.
right?
I can touch base with Laura too and find
Can
out.
one of you email me? I would like to go to these volunteer
Yes.
meetings. That'd
Yeah,
be great.
definitely.
Of course. Is that the best way to reach you through your email or your Facebook message?
Whatever you can get a hold of me. Basically. Just keep trying until I say something to you.
And this is the mystery. But you're worth it, so we'll roll
Yeah,
with it.
so I think right now my focus is going to be, other than working with the individual bands as they come to me asking, for whatever assistance, and it's all different. I know, back to the question you'd asked me before was, sometimes it's just promotion. Sometimes it's assistance with booking. Sometimes it's a whole gig where I own it from start to finish and build the bill. But I want to reach out to a couple of the key venues here in town and work exclusively with those venues.
There you go.
And the Wow Hall is my main target.
Well, they are phenomenal. That Floater Hiding Jekyll show. I hadn't been to a show there probably since the Prod show. There was 2004, 2005? I love the Wow Hall, but...
Dude, that
it's
Hiding
funny
Jekyll
you say
Floater
that.
show was a sick show.
Well, if you have video of that, I'm sure you hear my mouth the whole way through. Ow! Hiding Jekyll!
What's messed up is that's like
I
the
was
first Hiding
choking on-
Jekyll show that I've missed.
Oh my...
It was like the greatest, and I just happened to not be able to go to it.
I love Flutter, but in my opinion, Hiding Jekyll blew him out the water.
I heard that from a lot of people. I got
They
a lot of
were
fan feedback. that,
phenomenal.
Like, you don't
It
even
was-
know.
it
I mean,
was
Floater's
epic.
great, but Hiding
Flutter's
Jekyll's
great.
stomped it.
Hiding Jekyll kicked butt. I mean it. They
They
did.
took a few names that night, I'll tell you what.
Oh, I had the whole crowd in that huge line going way before they got in there. There was a lot of people there to see Hiding Jekyll anyway, and Flutter. But then they all knew about Hiding Jekyll before we got in. I'll tell you what, my mouth was going.
That show, when Rob and I started collaborating on that show, we started in April.
Nice.
And I don't think people really realize what goes into putting on a production like a 2-day show like Floater did.
That was excellent, though.
And
Good job, you guys.
The Floater Camp did most of it.
They did a good job. They always do.
They came to me and asked me my opinion on what would be good nights, because I'm really here in town where they're not, and who would be good openers, which is
Yay! Perfect.
where I got that swing in there.
Nice.
And that was a great show, but I missed the acoustic show, which I heard was amazing.
I missed that too.
But
That wasn't Hiding Jekyll. That was
that was Friday night.
Friday night. Yeah, but
And-
that was a different. Who
and
was
they
the
had-
band that did open?
I don't remember the exact name of the band, but they came down from Portland with Floater. And I know Skip plays the stand-up bass. I think he had a cello.
Nice.
Rob and him actually collaborate a lot on solo stuff. So, but that night with Hiding Jekyll was at the top of my list. It was sold out.
Yes, it was.
We did
It was
hella
great.
merch sales that weekend, which to this day is probably the most merch I've ever seen sold at a show.
I mean, that place was dialed in like any top-notch venue I've ever been in
Yeah.
25 states.
But
I was so impressed with the Wow Hall.
in the 20 years I've
The
been going,
sound,
It's a little expensive, though.
it's worth
If you
it.
can sell tickets,
No,
then
it's worth
I
it.
recommend it. But if you're not good enough to sell enough tickets, then
it's hard to do
you're
a WoW
paying out of
show.
pocket. Yeah.
I've done shows at the WoW that were fabulous, and I've tanked shows. I mean, it can happen, and part of that is with bad promotion time period, right? I mean, we've experienced that firsthand.
We never know what that is.
You have to have enough time to promote a show for it to be successful.
Absolutely.
But in the 20 years I've been going to shows in Eugene, the WoW Hall is by far my favorite venue.
Yeah.
And it is intimate. It is
People
just-
really run it. They really care. I
Yeah.
mean, you
I like
can
the
tell.
screens downstairs when you're at the bar.
Yeah, you can still
Yeah.
see
see
it.
the stage. From downstairs at the bar, you show your ID and you get downstairs, and then you get your beer, and then you see the TV screen of upstairs of the show that's going
Well, it's
on.
a big
really cool.
screen, actually.
It's pretty
It's
sick.
pretty big.
Yeah,
one,
it's not. Well, they have the TV. They have a couple TVs, and then they have that big screen over in the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the
Speaking of shows,
sound, wow, is great.
when are you guys gonna start playing gigs again? I heard you had a little bit of trouble. You lost some of your equipment, and you guys are on hold for a while.
We're kind of on a hiatus. We aren't exactly sure how long it's going to take place. I personally am dealing with some stuff. Had a fire recently, and so I'm trying to take care of all of that stuff and everything. Kind of cuts into our booking time.
Practice, booking time,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, we're hoping after the holiday season kind of.
After the holiday season.
Gets over
Try to
with.
get the ball rolling again.
Yeah, we'll get the ball
Well,
rolling again.
and that's kind of to where I
This
try to
next
come
year.
in. I'm already lining stuff up for March, April.
There you
Nice.
go.
Where
That gives a nice.
We don't
window.
have anything confirmed yet because I have to collaborate with the band, and then I have to collaborate with the venue, and I have to go back and forth, and then we figure out a bill, and but we have stuff in the works.
It gives us more time to prepare too, because we've really been just trying our hardest to step up our game. You know, like we had a really amazing year last year. Ended up picking up Toby Lugo from We Have Guns, and we grabbed Luke Martin from Transcending Maya. You know, and,
both those guys are talented.
Yeah, very, very talented musicians, and you know, we had a hell of a year,
Yeah.
And then you know, we realized, we started thinking about it, was like, dude, we've got to step up our game now.
Yeah.
You know, even more so than where we were at before. So we've been really trying to hone in and, you know, tighten up all those loose screws and.
Hey!
Hello!
But yes, of course.
Glad you made it out of the fire in one piece.
So you said you already had them set up on some dates in March and.
March and April is my focus right at the moment.
Do you have any
so-
specific dates that are like confirmed? Or
No dates confirmed.
If you can get one on the 28th, it's my birthday and I turned 30. Which
March?
Hey man, you got engaged at one of our shows.
Yeah.
I know.
So we gotta do your
Hell yeah.
birthday.
Every milestone of my life is gonna be at one of their shows.
What? Oh, Lloyd Hill.
I love this.
Retirement party. I'm 50. It's gonna be black
Hopefully we're
belt
throwing
at the bingo party.
Dude, I'll tell you what, that night was actually really special for me because we permanently ingrained ourselves into your personal history.
Yes.
No,
That shit right. Oh, I'm sorry. My language.
No,
that right there
You're
allowed.
is
He has a
what
disclaimer.
makes being a musician.
there is a
like-
disclaimer. We curse.
Should have thrown that out there. We can have adult conversations.
We can use big
You
words
look like Jim Carrey just
Well,
then.
shit.
You did. Love Jim
It's
Carrey.
fine, my mom.
No, man, it's one of those things that
She has
shit's,
a potty mouth.
I have a potty mouth and she has a naughty list and she knows what she can say. and
You know what
she
you
can't.
should do is you should send her to time out when she gives you bad language.
She tries to charge me money.
My niece
I'm trying to find
Yes.
the business aspect of
She
doing
charged us
She's already
50
getting
cents a
involved.
curse word. She had a notebook. I think I
Yeah.
still owe her like 25 bucks.
I never got she has to be on a bad word diet.
I have to be on a bad word diet.
A bad word diet. I love it.
My dad was a
I wonder-
sailor, so I'm sorry.
Biker music ain't happening. Sorry.
Sometimes I gotta remember not to curse in every sentence I speak of, you know? It's kind of like, my brain has to be like, okay, for once, just don't say a curse word. It's very hard not to do.
Yeah, see,
It's a habit.
I'm completely the opposite. It has everything to do with how excited I get, right? So-
Yeah.
and I'm chill.
There is
the
just
language
something
is
about-
PG.
There's just something
Excited.
about those words
Very
that
much.
just come rolling off your tongue like water in those moments.
That F word, man. Well, that's
That's such a universal word. I mean, hey,
yeah.
it's such. We're such creatures of habit too. I mean,
But yeah,
and then this-
back to what you guys were saying about that show was it not only did it affect my life, it still affects me.
Which show? Be specific.
Okay, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
at the Wow Hall. I got engaged on stage. It was
When
like
was
the last
this?
Thing. To be honest, I don't.
Uh-oh.
Was it the June show? Was it the Henry's Child show?
Henry Child. It was the Henry Child
You
reunion
opened for
show.
Henry's Child at the Wow Hall.
And,
You
Henry's
got
Child?
engaged
Wow.
on their
And
stage.
Greg from Hiding Jekyll was like, "Okay, I got you," and then talked to these guys right before. She had no idea. I'm like fumbling around with the ring, and the worst part is I was
I don't know
totally
how I missed this.
I was the biggest douche possibly known to man on camera. And she decided to send it to her entire family, you know. And every time I see it, they replay it over
Right
and
on,
over again,
Rosalind!
you know.
What do you mean douche? You proposed to her on camera, right?
Well, did you? I mean, the video is me of like, oh, because Greg's like, yo, you're talking too much. You're being too loud. Why are you on your cell phone? And I'm like, oh, it's her fault. It's her fault. People started booing me. They're like, boo, boo, this guy, boo. And then I did that, and it got all sentimental and shit. But yeah, I will never forget that moment. I'll probably tell this story at my wedding. You know,
Man,
it's great.
We'll show
dude,
the
I'll
video.
cheers you on that one, bro.
Oh,
I was what I was
Cheers.
trying to say earlier, man. It's things like that that make, you know, like me personally as a songwriter, us as musicians, you know, being able to be a part of people's lives, you know, on those very deep
For
personal
sure.
levels, just beautiful.
it is.
I agree.
I'm too manly right now to cry. You know? I'm squeaking a little bit. Ben, don't cry. Yeah, do it.
You have to write a song for them, you know.
Everybody cries.
That's
Shit.
right.
The next black belt
The
hit.
one on
Big boys don't cry.
right? Remix kind of thing.
That's our cover song right there.
We're gonna have to talk about that one.
Yeah, I concur.
We've been kicking around all these ideas for cover songs that we're trying to do, and I think we've touched on everything all the way from Tony Braxton.
Please.
We were kicking around a couple of pop songs for a while.
I got one for him.
Yeah.
You guys
I think we finally settled on one. We're not going to let this cat out of the bag yet, but we finally settled on a song, and
That cat's gonna
we
cry.
hope that we're going to impress people with
Do
it.
you want to announce that? Or
No.
is it keep it
No.
secret? No. It's a big secret.
I
You're
hope
not
it's
gonna
not
know
a
it.
paper bag, because them cats got some claws, you know.
I always recommend if bands want to cover songs. I don't agree with it, but it's necessary. It's fun.
Yeah, we're Unsigned Revolution.
But if you do have a band and you want to challenge, do a cover song of Gorgo Bradella. You know, they're like a gypsy rock band. You know, and they're almost impossible to imitate. So if you want a challenge,
Challenge.
Yeah.
You gotta put it out there.
No! No! I cannot accept this. Actually, the Egyptian thing.
gypsy.
Maybe. Yeah.
Think
well,
anything better, dude. Truth of silence, bro.
Yeah.
Truth of silence. Anything better?
Yeah.
We
Is
got
that
that
like I said to each other? Is anything better? It was pretty good in my opinion. I liked it.
Is there anything better? We've got to have a better way.
Wow.
Yes, that just happened. I'm terrible.
That's great. I love it.
I suffer from a very
Would you look at
deplorable
the time?
personality disorder of, unrelenting narcissism.
I love it.
It's perfect for a lead singer.
I share it. I'm not a lead singer, but hey.
So you guys actually, the 2 out of the 4 band members that are here, you guys are the ones that write the lyrics, right? You guys co-help? each
Well,
other?
he writes all lyrics. I won't touch the lyrics.
You don't touch the lyrics? You don't
No,
put any
no
input
way.
in it at
No
all?
way. No, I'm not a lyricist.
So you are by yourself doing the lyrics, or is there somebody else that helps you sometimes? Just
Most of the time, it's just me.
all in your brain, everything.
Yeah.
That
All that's up there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like you seem like a crazy kind of outgoing person, but your lyrics are very like emotional and sentimental. You know, not in a rock way, not in a like sissy pants way, but I mean,
Well-
in rock. But you still have like
Depth.
soul, and depth
Yes,
into your
depth and
music.
soul.
Yeah,
That goes together a lot, actually.
it's kind of the same thing, kind of. Yeah.
I tend to really gravitate towards a lot of introspection. Just by my nature, I'm a more introspective individual, and I take a look, not only at myself, but I also look at society and about situations that happen, that surround us. But like, I don't want to be very vague, but at the same time, I want people to be able, to relate at least on some level, even if the specific situation I'm addressing is not something that they themselves have dealt with.
Like Chernobyl's child.
Children of Chernobyl was actually the song that we based the entire concept, around the inevitable decline, and it's just kind of it's a pseudo-political religious song in a way.
Okay.
Chernobyl, Russia, went nuclear back in the 80s, plant blew up, and then like 30 years later, there are these children, these babies that are born, and because of the fallout,
Deformities.
the nuclear radiation, like these kids are born deformed. Like their innocence is literally stripped away from them the second that they pop out of the womb, And so I was thinking about this whole concept, like it was really inspired by a book that I was reading called Searching for God Knows What by Don Miller. Absolutely amazing book. Takes a very honest look at some aspects of religion and faith and really analyzes them, and he's talking about the children of Chernobyl and how, like each and every one of us is born into the same, distortion. We're born into a society that pressures us and it plagues us and it, throws a lot of things at us. And it says that, you have to place your political ideas, your religious ideas, you have to place that above the value of a human being. And so what this song is basically saying is, it's kind of messed up, but it's saying we are all born deformed from the womb. We're trying to get through this thing called life together. And that's
Gives me
just
chills. I love it.
Right, no, it
have
has
to-
so
we-
much meaning.
That is
to it.
awesome.
we have to like either come together or figure out a way to solve our differences,
Oh, for sure.
And
so
this is where the music comes in.
yeah, and that's what the concept was for that song. Why it's kind of, for me personally, it's a very important a very important song.
Personally,
Yes, it is.
personally to me, I mean, there's no better way to get your point across than through music.
That's right.
I mean, everybody listens to it. I mean, if you got the groove and you speak something of truth, then people will listen to it and maybe take it into account for their own lives and, you know, spread it across.
Sure.
Just like your guitar licks that you have, they're so crunchy and rocking. I mean, literally, like you put that in motion for me to have a good day now because I flew to Black Belt before, but I skipped through your tracks when I got them earlier today. And the first song we played, what was that song?
The one,
The Sticks and
A
Stones?
Better Way?
Sticks and
Or
Stones.
A Better Way.
No, and A Better Way. Yeah,
Okay.
Sticks and Stones and A Better Way. The guitar for that, I love it. That's the shit that I like to wake up to in the morning and just be like, yes,
Yeah.
I'm ready for my day. It's time to rock. So if you ever need, your rock fix, Black Belt has you covered.
yeah.
Yeah, it's what we do.
And so you have links to your music that you have for sale on your website,
Absolutely.
and probably on Phoenix Productions too, or is it just
Not
onto
yet.
their? Not yet.
We are also available. We've got Amazon, iTunes. You can look us up. Right now you pull up your phone. I know you got your phone in your hand.
That's right.
Pull that
Everybody on
phone up.
the phone.
I want you to go to Pandora. Okay, I'm talking to you people that are listening. You go to Pandora. You type in Black Belt, and you're gonna bring up a station for us and help us get paid a little bit.
Yeah.
We're on Pandora. I was so excited when we found that out.
Congratulations.
I got hit up by one of my friends. She goes, I just heard you guys come on right after 6 a.m. I'm like, Nikki 6? Right on.
Nice.
So did you guys do you have anything to do with it, or they just put your music on Pandora? Or?
Oh, we just had to submit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
go to
so
the
you
website,
submitted it, and then now it's on there.
Yep.
So if you're on Pandora, you can totally check out Black Belt.
Yep,
Oh, absolutely.
exactly, yes.
Absolutely.
And everybody I know is on Pandora.
I'm not.
I'm not either.
Personally, I don't even like Pandora, but I mean, it is a big name, and I'm glad you guys are on it. That's a lot of.
I am on Spotify, and they are on
Spotify.
Spotify as well.
Spotify.
What about SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, we're on SoundCloud. We have the Reverb Nation account as
Reverb
well.
Nation.
Yeah.
Some people don't like it. I
Groove
love
Shark.
it.
Groove Shark is great because you can stream and share each of your individual tracks.
I hadn't heard of that one. Groove Shark. Huh?
I have never heard of Groove Shark
There's even a
before.
desktop platform.
Nice.
I'll have to check that out.
Groove Shark.
I use it for one of my streams, and so if you're on my station, people can go
I
to
have
my
to
Groove
write
Shark
this
and
down.
see, and they can share it and stream the songs, and no
Groove
one
Shark.
can download it, so your music isn't stolen, basically. I mean, there's a lot of programs and businesses that have those accepting terms, and then you accept it, but then you don't know that your music is going to be sold or they're going to get some portion of it some way from their advertisement, and that's sort of the thing that, that's my main concern is my job is to make sure that the bands I like don't get screwed over by some penny pincher dude who's just trying to take advantage of you. Yeah. Those fucks. Moment of silence.
I have no more beer.
Okay, we'll be right back. They're gonna keep talking. I'm gonna get beer.
So let's hear some funny gig stories.
Hey, do you have a joke?
Funny gig stories.
Oh yeah, I have a joke.
Oh, wait.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Come on. Why can I do pizza
No, do it now.
Now she has to.
It's a commercial.
Well, I don't care. She
Okay.
has
Well,
to.
we're on a commercial.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's
No
there?
commercial.
Pizza.
Pizza who?
Pizza Hut.
Oh.
Just pull the commercial.
You got to see.
Yep.
You gotta love Pizza Hut.
No.
I like this guy. You say the word and he shoots a silver bullet your way, except it's not a silver bullet.
Oh, actually, you know how American made? Paps was originally American made, but
Originally, nothing's
apparently
made
Russian.
anymore.
They're Russian now. Paps is Russian.
That's okay then.
That doesn't surprise me.
That's
Well, it
cheap.
says established in Milwaukee.
Didn't Russia
1844.
also buy Budweiser? I think they're
don't know.
taking over our
They're taking
beer.
over all our
Germany,
beer.
that's Budweiser.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
can't
well,
do the Budweiser.
is there anything else you guys want to cover? I mean, we're still rocking out here, hour and 20 minutes in. I mean, we can keep going. We can shut down. I don't know what you guys think.
we can answer as many questions. We were talking about some funny shows.
Yes. Bring on the humor. What we got?
Shoot.
What do you got? I don't know.
Maybe
I
they're
guess
not
it's
sure
not-
they can
it's
talk
I'm a
about it.
guitarist, so I don't know. Whatever you
You
want.
got to do all the talking here. You're the front man. Come on.
Yeah, getting me to talk isn't the problem. It's getting me to shut up that is.
You're a good company.
Anybody that's seen us live will know I can be a long way. We
Yeah,
actually have to
yeah.
set up our stuff in sequence now. Okay? There's a couple of reasons why we do that. One, we don't have a bass player. We have a keyboard, drummer, 2 guitar players, and then myself.
No
singer.
bass player?
That was
No
my-
bass player now.
Do you have any like plans to get a bass player?
Absolutely not.
Not at the moment.
They're faceless! The
With,
faceless black belt!
What we've found out over the time that Mike and I have worked together, we have a very specific songwriting process that we go through, and oftentimes it's a process that's a little foreign and alien to people outside of it that aren't used to it. We heavily rely on the digital age to be able to transfer, because this guy lives in Salem, I live down here, and so...
Oh, you weren't joking about that.
Yeah.
I thought you were joking.
Yeah, no, I'm
I knew someone was
You were
gonna
straight
say
faced.
that.
He wasn't even like sarcastic about it. I thought he was
Yeah, in
joking.
fact, I think most of our writing is actually done separately. Like I'll either come to you with a song idea, or you'll come to me with a song idea, and then we'll basically hand it off to each other, and the other person will go through it and just kind of put their spin on it. Hack things up, take things out, move things around, change things. And it's
so
just kind of, we go through this process of doing that back and forth, and occasionally we'll get together to kind of work through some things, but eventually it comes to the Inevitable Decline is a prime example. A lot of this album was done that way. I think almost every guitar solo and every guitar part that I wrote was on my own.
Yeah, you were coming up to my place up in Portland when I was living up there. Funny story about that, I actually had my friends over while we were recording Less Than Ordinary, one of the previous songs that you heard.
Yeah, we heard it earlier. I like it.
And truth be told, I'm really not that great of a guitarist. And
Hey,
my poor friend, we sat there. We sat there for
He's a
45
fantastic
minutes.
guitarist.
Yes,
Don't let him fool you.
indeed.
Fuck.
Notice Terry's silent laughter over here.
I would like more emphasis on the voice of the guitar. I'm a singer, man. I'm a singer. No, so I'm sitting there 45 minutes. It took me to do a little 5-second clip of the song, because every time, I'd mess up the lead part that I was supposed to be playing there. And eventually
You just had me do it.
Yeah. He kept trying to. I was like, no, I'm gonna do this.
It's my turn. I want to rock this time. It's perfect.
No, it was a very interesting process we used to record The Inevitable Decline. Literally everything on that album was recorded completely separately using nothing but audio interfaces and our laptops. And your little pedal thing that we plugged into.
My pedal thing.
Yeah.
Is it a
Okay.
pedal board? You have like the stationary with multiple pedals?
Oh, you're talking about the pod. Oh, it's just
Yep.
a pod.
Oh.
Yeah.
The pods. People are running sound like that event, Cornerstone. They were, instead of having the big sound booth, way back, this great big clumpity thing with 10 million bunches of equipment, this man was sitting, we were from here, twice as far from the screen there, from the stage. And he's sitting next to me with an iPad. He's running the sound
Oh yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's
It's
absolutely.
wow.
It's absolutely remarkable the way that technology is able to be utilized. Especially in the music industry.
It blows me away. And I've got to get that curve. It's okay, I'm trying to skate into this one. Woo!
But yeah, I don't know. I guess our writing process, it's real sloppy. It really is. For the amount of
I don't come across that.
I don't know if he's just lying to us or if he's just being super modest.
I guess to me it seems sloppy in a way,
Well,
because
you're
we're
your
not
worst
getting
critic, though,
we're not
too.
getting
The
together
results are
in the
great.
same room. There's most bands, they get together in the same space, in the same
And then
room,
you're in
and they
Salem.
hash out all of their
Yeah.
parts, and they say, okay, this is the riff, this is what we're going to play, this is what we're going to do. With us, we don't do that. I will sit down with an acoustic guitar and just start messing around with something, and eventually it becomes one of our heaviest songs. Case in point, Children of Chernobyl, the one I was talking about earlier. That one literally started out as me just plunking 2 strings on my acoustic guitar. Then I brought it into Black Bell, and this guy just killed it. I mean, we added in some lead parts and a couple of solos, and we actually were going back and forth whether or not to keep 2 solos in the song.
Yeah.
We were going back
I
and
was
forth on that
telling
for
you
a
to get
long
rid
time.
of that second solo, man. You just wanted to keep it.
I
I don't get it.
Well, and I think
don't-
it's even worse than they're saying too, because I mean, Ash is down here, Mike's in Salem. Isn't Nolan in Portland?
do. No, no one's in Salem.
He's also in Salem.
We got 2 of us down here, 2 of us in
Yeah.
Salem.
Yeah.
So do you guys work together up there and then kind of like
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
email him stuff or do you
Yeah,
video
we
chat or something?
we actually do everything. We use like Google Drive, so like all of
Right.
our collaborations there. So like literally we can go. Doesn't matter where we're at as long as we have internet access. We take a laptop wherever, and we can pull
Here's-
up
here's a
everything
sample
of
for you.
what I've been doing up in Salem or what he's been doing out here, and it's there and it
Modern times.
Yep.
Should I actually break this, the silence on our
No,
secret
what do
weapon?
you?
No.
Secret weapon?
No, keep your secret weapon.
What's-
Keep it.
Well, it might help a certain friend of ours to generate a little bit of business.
You guys know what they're
I don't know what the secret weapon
I don't
is
have
talking about, but
So we recorded all the tracks ourselves. This was the process for the Inevitable Decline. We recorded all the tracks ourselves using basically nothing but plugins that we could pull off later and reapply with sounds when we
Okay.
actually put everything in post. And the person that we ended up actually giving the record to have it mixed was Jared Noland, who is now our drummer. And I highly recommend to every band that I know to utilize this guy. And as of yet, nobody's taken me up on that.
That's
Jared-
Jared.
Jared Nolan.
Jared Noland. He works
Okay.
Nolan.
I think I've heard of that.
Burley Studios.
Yep.
Burley Studios, they're on Facebook. Go and check him out. If you want to hear the quality of work that he can do, all you got to do is go to Pandora and listen to Black Belt. He is absolutely phenomenal with what this guy is capable of doing.
Now you said Jared Nolan or Noland?
No land. Like KNOWLAND.
Like I have-
all
Like
one
we
word.
stole the Indians and now they have no land.
But this is to know the land. This is to know the
Is that
land.
too soon or too
You said
late? I'm not
KNOW.
sure.
It's KNOW.
Jared Nolan, Burley Studios, Black Belt drummer, sound engineer, phenomenal.
Salem, Oregon. Yeah, he's absolutely phenomenal. He's been in the process of actually working with the band Saint.
Okay.
You
I haven't
know.
heard of them either. I'll look them up.
They're-
Every day I hear like 10 new bands, and then I like probably 8 out of 10 of them. So that's
I
a pretty
know.
good ratio.
That's the best
Yeah.
part of this business is all listening to all
Oh, it's
these.
so much fun.
It
It's
is.
so much fun.
That's great. Wow. So that's great. I'm glad you brought his name out, and he's your drummer too.
Yes.
Burley Studios. Great. Oh, this is going on Live Music Addict.
You guys lifers, how long have you been playing music and singing and stuff? And like,
Geez, man, I started on the violin
really?
back in grade school.
That's
Me
not
too.
You
easy.
started too?
Really?
Oh, man, yeah.
Why don't you like incorporate that with your tracks?
We've tried that in the past, haven't we?
We have tried it in the past. We
It just
didn't.
didn't work too well.
Well, we never really
Too
got
much
serious
work.
with it.
Yeah, we never got serious.
It's a beautiful instrument.
It
though.
is, yeah.
I would like to, because I mean we've been integrating a lot more keyboard elements into our stuff. Like the Inevitable Decline is just replete with keyboard elements,
Good word.
and string tracks, and I mean like I personally have always been a huge fan of like movie soundtracks.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Definitely.
And like just that epicness, that epic sound, and so that I think that's really what we were pushing for with the Inevitable Decline, like just to have that epicness there.
Yeah.
Have you tried to market any of your stuff with Miss Wilson here for some soundtracks? Movie theme songs?
That's a whole new level.
I totally
I'd
think
have to
Just
start
throwing it
working
out
on
there.
different contacts for that.
Anyway, I apologize.
Something
Stick
tells
around
me
until-
you'll get there.
You were talking about your
What was I talking about again?
the beginning of your musical career, beginning of violin.
Oh, just
Violin.
violin, yeah. Started violin and then
At a
on
young
to,
age, you just branched out and
yeah,
learned other stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
How
took the
young?
guitar and, what, 4th grade?
Nice.
Yeah.
Same for you? About?
3rd grade.
We're back. Finally, Jesus, took me long enough to push 2 buttons. Black Bell in the house. Thank you guys for joining us. Did you drive all the way down here from Salem?
I did, yeah.
Just for this show?
Just for this show.
Oh my God, he drove like so far just to come down and listen to me,
Unsigned
back up.
Revolution is the bomb Shizna and Phoenix
I appreciate
Advanced
that.
Productions
Yeah, man.
Terry
That's
Wilson.
And then Phoenix Productions and Advanced Terry Wilson. Very, very awesome that you guys came by
Thank you
and
for
said
having
hello.
us.
And Ash and Mike.
Of course. Yeah, so we're going to recap real fast. You've heard a bunch about both of these guys, but just in case you weren't listening, where can we find you, and then where can we find them? Let's go in order.
I think
Links and stuff.
for right now, I've been holding back on the website. It's still in development. So the best place to get me is on Facebook at the business page is Phoenix Productions and Events.
Okay.
And just message us there. Or you can actually send me a message, Terry Wilson, on Facebook. It's the best place to get me.
Okay. And then Black Bell, of course, blackbellrock.com, right, for your website. And then you can find them on all the social links possibly known to man. And then if you can't find them on one, then I suck.
Yeah, the
Because I
best
just
one,
said that, you know.
the most awesome one.
Pandora.
Newly on Pandora.
Newly on Pandora.
I'm
Black
sorry,
Bell.
I'm obsessed with Pandora because that's what I was listening to when I was going to school at
Right.
the Art Institute. It was just constantly Pandora was playing at every single moment, and it's so metal sounding.
Did you think one moment that where you're like, oh, I can't wait for my music to hopefully eventually get on Pandora, and then just magic happens?
It was a milestone for me personally as an artist.
It's a big deal. I mean, that's
like,
like
having-
corporations say that your
Dude,
music
like,
is okay. I mean,
Having your
Not that you
music
care,
play,
but-
right? And then like immediate after
Yeah.
you hear something like, like Red Suit or Red Jumpsuit Apparatus or like Seether or
Seether.
6 a.m. or any of the other bands
and
that
then they
people
hear
message
you
me.
like right
I
afterwards,
was like,
right?
dude, it's crazy. And I mean, internet radio, but still.
Still.
Internet
That's
radio
awesome.
is the new thing, though.
Well,
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
That's
if all
true.
of us could afford a station like a building, and then we're a station, that'd be cool to have like an unsigned station.
Yeah.
But the only places that I've realized that it exists is not in this country. Other countries, they have the normal, like we have K-Fly and stuff for the rock, but like their K-Fly is nothing but independent music. But somehow,
They got it going on in Europe.
yeah, the USA just needs to get on
Linda
the ball.
Parker.
Need to get on the ball.
We
Need to send you her.
I don't know if it's
she
a good
does
idea
the
to talk
UK metal
crap about the
Oh, cool.
FCC. Is.
books all over. There's 2 online radio shows.
Should I edit that out?
And
Edit what
yeah,
out?
she's a cool cat. And down the road, if we could get like an airline thing, I've already got ideas. Bring our bands to UK. Bring her bands here.
Sounds
Yeah, I've already been talking to her.
Oh, please
Linda
get
Parker,
us into the UK.
she
That
will-
would be so much fun.
Regal Radio.
Lisa Nash is another great contact for music. And then there's a few more that I forgot. But there's music everywhere. I mean, like from Czechoslovakia,
Everywhere.
Norway to South Africa. There's
Australia, Choke Cutter.
Volume Conflict from South Africa and the deep jungle of nowhere is awesome rock band. Just everywhere. It's great music. So, anyways, closing up here.
Oh.
Unsigned Revolution Radio. You have something else to say, so bring it in.
Well,
Bring it in.
On January,
So-
we're gonna take a couple bye weeks because next Wednesday's Christmas
yeah.
Eve and the following Wednesday's New Year's Eve. So, Merry Christmas, Happy
Merry
New Year.
Christmas! Happy New
We'll
Year!
be back on January 7th with Terry Wilson and Phoenix Production and Events, and a band to be announced. And Addison, if you come back, you're always welcome.
And everybody, Allison, the biggest fan of
Hand for
Addison.
Addison.
Addison,
Call her Allison. Now I feel bad. I'm sorry.
oh, and we
Merry Christmas.
You can call me Doyd instead of Lloyd.
and we might have.
It's fun. Everyone gets.
I think we might also have a pop in from Chris Farrell and Mark Nash, who are handling the
Okay.
band booking for the Festival of Eugene, so
Right.
we can discuss that. And then they want to meet Terry too. So if
Everybody
you
wants to
haven't
meet
met them-
Terry. You're like this
Well,
ghost.
yeah. Well, Mark Nash is also in Code Red, and then
And they're actually the band-
Unaltered is Chris Farrell.
Code Red is actually doing the they're filtering through the music that are being applied at the
Right.
Eugene
They're
Festival.
the ones that are
Right.
handling.
So if you submit your music, be nice to Code Red because they're the ones judging.
Mark
you.
Nash is.
Yeah.
Mark Nash and Chris Farrell from Unaltered.
Mhm.
So they're going to discuss that, and that's a
Cool.
good thing for you to be in on too.
Yep.
So, but we'll be having Miss Terry Wilson and Phoenix Productions and Events on here as a regular guest, as well as the Festival of Eugene, and other guests. Heavy Chevy will be coming up either January or February, and so Merry Christmas, everybody! Happy
Yeah,
Hanukkah! Happy
Thanks
New
for
Year!
tuning in.
The reason they call it is a random applause because you do this.
Round of applause.